Let's talk about something many of us think about, getting older. Do you ever worry that it just automatically means getting slower, getting stiffer? Well, what if that's not the whole story? Today, we're diving into how you can age well and keep moving freely. You know that feeling, right? Maybe our knees are a little creakier in the morning, or you find yourself looking for the elevator instead of taking the stairs. It's so easy to think, well, I guess this is just part of getting older. But is it? Really? Well, here's the good news. The research points to a resounding no. It turns out that major mobility loss isn't actually caused by age itself. Nope. It's driven by things we can actually manage. And that is fantastic, because it puts the power right back in our hands. So when we use this word mobility, what are we even talking about? It's not about being a gymnast or touching your toes. It's much simpler. It's about being able to move through your life the way you want to, freely, safely, and with confidence. Think about your day-to-day life. It means being able to pop up from a comfy chair without a second thought. It's walking across the grass at a park and not worrying about tripping. It's taking the stairs, maintaining your balance, all the little things that add up to real independence. Okay, so to get a real grip on this, we need to kind of look under the hood and understand what's actually going on inside our bodies. And don't worry, this isn't going to be a complicated biology lesson. It's all about getting the why so we can nail the how. It really boils down to three main changes that happen as the years go by. And once you understand these, everything else starts to make a lot more sense. So let's take them one by one. First up, muscle. Believe it or not, after we hit about 30, our bodies naturally start to lose a little bit of muscle mass. We're talking 3 to 8% every single decade. Now, that might not sound like a ton, but just imagine that over 20 or 30 years, it really adds up and starts to impact our strength. Second, our joints. Think of them like the hinges on a door. Over time, the cushioning, the cartilage, can get a little worn, and the body produces less of the natural fluid that keeps everything moving smoothly. So, just like that door hinge, they can start to feel a bit stiff or creaky. And the third piece of this puzzle is balance. Staying upright is all about this super fast communication between your brain and your body. As we get older, that signal can sometimes get a little slower, a little less clear, and that can leave us feeling just a bit wobbly. Okay, so that's what's happening on the inside. But how does this all actually show up in our daily lives? Well, that brings us to something really important, what I like to call the inactivity trap. It's all about how these tiny little changes can spiral into much bigger problems. See, it's sneaky. It almost never happens overnight. It just creeps in. You start taking the elevator a little more often. You find yourself sitting down for longer stretches. Each choice feels totally harmless on its own, but together they start a cycle. And that cycle of just moving less has very real consequences. We're talking about a much higher risk of falls and injuries, nagging chronic pain, and bit by bit, a loss of that independence that is so incredibly important for our quality of life. And look, this is a really big deal. Public health data is crystal clear on this. Falls are a major cause of injury for people over 65. So this isn't just about feeling good, it's about staying safe. All right, enough of the problem, right? Let's get to the good stuff, the solution. Because there is a simple, straightforward plan that anyone can follow to keep moving freely and confidently for a long, long time. And I want to be super clear about this. The goal here is not about running a marathon or becoming a bodybuilder, unless you want to, of course. No, for most of us, the goal is much more important. It's about daily function. It's about being able to do the things you love to do. It all comes down to these three simple keys. First, building a little strength to support your body. Second, making sure you move in a variety of ways. And third, maybe the most important one of all, consistency. Just doing a little something often. Now let's talk about that variety piece, because this is a big one. Walking is fantastic. It's one of the best things you can do, but it's not the whole story. Our bodies were designed to bend, to reach, to twist, to balance. We need to sprinkle in those kinds of movements to keep the whole system tuned up. So we've got our physical game plan, but there is another huge piece to this puzzle, and it has nothing to do with muscles or joints. It's what's going on upstairs, in our heads. Overcoming the mental hurdles is just as crucial as the physical ones. It often starts with a very understandable fear. Maybe you had a little stumble or saw a friend take a fall, and suddenly you're worried about it happening to you. So what's the logical response to that fear? Well, you start moving less. You get a little more cautious, you avoid things you used to do,
all in an attempt to stay safe. But here is the wild, ironic twist in this story. Moving less actually makes your body weaker and your balance worse, which means the very thing you're doing to avoid a fall winds up making one even more likely. It's a textbook vicious cycle. So, how do you escape the trap? You break the cycle. You start small with safe, simple movements. And with every little bit of movement, you're sending a message back to your brain that says, hey, I can do this. I am strong. I am stable. That's how you build real, lasting confidence. And that, right there, really is the bottom line. Our bodies are going to change as we age. That's just life. But it's not the changes that rate our future. It's how we respond to them. Our choices matter so much more than the number of candles on our birthday cake. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about a huge, overwhelming new fitness plan. Think smaller. What is one tiny movement? Maybe it's standing on one leg while you brush your teeth, or doing a few gentle stretches when you get out of bed. What's one small thing you can add to your day, starting right now?